Well, hello, I'm Dr. Julia Royston of BK Royston Publishing, Royal Media and Publishing, and the Book Business Boss Consulting, helping you get your message to the masses, turn your words into wealth, and be a book business boss. Well, I am super excited to have three book business bosses with me today. And when I always bring people with me, they're coming to inform, to educate, to help you move forward, to help hopefully you to move faster in the book business, in the writing business, in the publishing business, and all of the things that are in between. Now, have you said, I don't have a book yet? Good. You write in the right place too. I haven't even started writing. And it's been running around in my head. Yeah, boo, you're in the right place. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm always super excited to bring people with me so we can have a conversation. So, I'm strictly conversational. I don't care what time of day or evening it is. And especially when we're talking about books, we're talking about writing, publishing, and moving our books forward. I'm all for it. So I want my panel to first off introduce themselves, tell us where they're from, and tell us where we can find them on social media and if they have a website. So we're going to start with, let's start with Dr. Nettles.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I am Vernette Clemens Nettles. I currently reside in Montgomery, Alabama, but I am from Mobile, the home of Mardi Gras and all things fabulous. I can be found at www.vernettcnettles.com. I am also on Facebook, and I have been told for the 13th time on this weekend that I must be on Instagram. So I will be working that into my repertoire hopefully soon.
I hope so too. Miss Sophia, you up next.
Hanson, I currently reside in Birmingham, in Springville, Alabama, but I grew up in New York City and went to school in Boston. So people still say, even though I've been here since '88, you're not from around here, are you?
Definitely. Where are you on social media?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram primarily. I've got a website, sophialhanson.com, and I post my schedule and my events and my fun thoughts there.
Absolutely. And next up, Ms. Shatara Clark.
Hi, good evening. I am Shatara S. Clark. I am originally from Cuba, Alabama. If you've heard of it, type it in the comments. If not, it's okay. You learned tonight. But I've been in Montgomery, Alabama for quite some time now. And you can find me on my social on Facebook. I'm Shatara S. Clark, but I also have a website. It's allthingstywrites.com. But if you go to Shatara S. Clark on Facebook, it can lead you everywhere you would like to go.
Absolutely. So I have deemed 2026 my year of the book business. My podcast, Book Business Bosses for season number 5, is all about taking your book and turning it into a business. Now, I realize everyone is not interested in that. I get that. But if you have opportunity, you at least need to know what you could be getting yourself into. So when I've been talking about the book business, first off, number one, whether you're say I want an LLC or you find out from your finance, that's my disclaimer. We're not financial CPAs. You need to find your financial person. But know that when you write and publish a book, that you're in the book business no matter what level you're on. I like to think you may be occasional. You every now and then when somebody begs you or you have an opportunity that almost slaps you in the face, then you maybe attend an event, right? Or you may be on the fence. Sometimes you started off real hot and then life started lifing, and then you might get back in it in the holiday season and think, I need a few coins to buy some gifts, okay? So you could be on the fence, or you could be like me, you're all in. So that's left up to you how you want to be a part of the book business, but know that this is a multi-billion-dollar business. It is really as much as you want and as high as you want to go is where we are. No, number two, you need to know the rules, know the procedures, know the policies as you go. But you need to be able to ask some questions. If you don't know, there's a multiplicity of information here on this panel, as well as there's plenty of information out there. Of course, if you need help and you're like, well, I have a specific question, feel free to contact any of these ladies. They've got websites, etc. So you can find out, ask the questions that you need to ask. When I taught school, I've been retired 8 years. There are no dumb questions, none. The only thing I have a problem is you have a question and you're not willing to ask it. That's the only problem I have. So therefore, getting the information that you need so that you can know how the rules of this game is played, what the policies are. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know. No love. There's plenty of ways to ask those questions. And then number three, you've got to understand that, and I can go on and on, but number three, for me, when I'm talking about the book business, you've got to understand how much and how important you feel your intellectual property is. No matter how you publish, whether you're traditionally published, whether you're a hybrid publisher, whether you're self-published, whether you are published with an independent publisher, you have got to determine how much you want to protect your intellectual property. Because one, that's money. Two, it goes in the same category as any of the other estate planning. So therefore, your house, your car, your 401k, your bonds, your stocks, and your book go along on that same level. So, you got to make sure you have an attorney, you know what you're signing away, what your rights are, so that, and there are scammers out there. Every industry has them. But if you know the rules, if you know the questions to ask, then you can better prepare yourself to protect your intellectual property. Now, me, y'all know, I'm not controlling. This is how I'm gonna quantify it. I'm not controlling, but I have control issues. And if I want to control some situations, I can't control people. I let that go a long time ago. But if I have the control to say yes or no, then I want to be able to make that educated decision. Does that make sense? And then when we're talking about how important, this is my fourth one. We were all supposed to do 2 or 3, but I got a bonus. So my bonus is ask yourself, what if you win? What if you do win? What if somebody does come and to your table and says, I want a set, and they buy one of everything you have? And I've had that happen to me. Or if they come to your table, a bookstore manager says, anything you have left at this event, I want to buy it. Okay. Are you prepared for the win? Are you prepared for the fiction writers, for an entertainment attorney, just in case somebody says, we would love to turn your book into a movie? It can't happen. It's happened for other people. So I guess that's the reason why I keep such tight control over my intellectual property, because what if I do win? What if I do win? What if that does happen? And, I have people in the films that are interested, reputable people. And I'm like, well, when y'all figure out how we can monetize that, then come back around. Do we figure out how we can monetize that? You come back around. But, what if you do win? What if, because I've had many, many years where I would go to events and sell nothing. I know you find that hard to believe, but I have. I've sold music CDs, T-shirts, and sold absolutely nothing. But that was in the beginning stages. That was early on. Now, but if you keep going and you're consistent, it's amazing what could possibly happen. All right. Okay. So I hope that helps. So let's go back kind of to the beginning stages, and let's talk about the writing process. And I'm going to turn that over to Dr. Nettles. She is the writing coach, one of the writing coaches, because we all can do it, but one of the writing coaches. And I just want her to tell us 2 or 3 things when you're thinking about the writing process or writing a book. Now I know everybody's, publishers, we always say everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a story inside. We say it all the time. Woo, you got a story. You got a story, But when you get down to it to write it, what are 2 or 3 things that you really need to, no matter the genre, what are 2 or 3 things you really need to be thinking about when you're getting ready to write?
You're right, absolutely right. Everybody believes that they have a story, but I was talking to my cousin the other day and she hadn't written anything. So really the beginning stages is whether or not you're committed to writing it down. Have you started writing it into a Word doc, a Google doc, a tablet? Have you started putting pen to paper? That's really where you start. And a lot of people say, well, I have it in my head, but in your head is not how anybody can see it to transfer it to the next step. And if your head is anything like mine, then the steps get jumbled. So you want to get it out of your head onto a piece of paper. And then the other thing is once you start writing it down, a lot of people get paralyzed because they want it to be in the order that the book is going to be in. But that's not how ideas reveal themselves. Ideas reveal themselves based on a moment, on how the sun is hanging that day. Oh my gosh, I saw a beautiful red moon tonight. Well, that conversation might not be in chapter 1 of my book. It might be in chapter 5 when I need that kind of scenery and imagery. So it's so important to write the things down. And then as you're writing and progressing in your book, the things that you've written down will begin to order themselves. And you don't want to be tied to, well, I wrote it on page, it needs to go in chapter 1. I wrote it on chapter 1. When you begin to see that it fits better in chapter 5. You don't want to reveal too much information. You want to be able to give your story longevity. And then the other thing is commitment to the process. Well, there's one more thing. This commitment to the process. Are you willing to put in the effort, to put in the time, to bring your feeling in your heart to fruition? Are you willing to move it from your heart to the paper? And then the other thing is read, write again, because we want it to be right when we write it down, but it's not right when you write it down. It is a version of what will happen. It's a version of what you will see in the end. And you can be tied to the words all you want to be, but you want to be tied to what you want your audience to read, to how you want your audience to feel, and be willing to allow the words to shift. And what we can promise you, all 4 of us can promise you this: the words will center themselves and they will order themselves along the process. But you have to be willing to be in the process of disorderly thinking. My sunrise happened in chapter 1, but I need that sunrise in chapter 4. I need my scenery. I need my beach to be at the end of my book, not in the middle of the book. You have to be willing to make those flexible changes along the journey, because every book is its own journey. I can't tell you how many times page 17 ended up on page 4.
Yeah. Absolutely, because it's got to make sense, and it may make sense in your head, but then when you get a beta reader or somebody else to read it, it doesn't make sense at all. It's not coming together at all. So if you are having writing issues and you need a writing coach, please reach out to Dr. Nettles for Net, C Nettles, 1 T. Her Nettles has 2 T's. So that's VERNET, C in the middle, NETTLES.com. So that you can, because, there are writing coaches out there that can help you write it down and get it down so that it can be clear and enjoyable and informative for the readers. Thank you, Dr. Nettles. All right. So let's keep in mind with the actual writing process And then I've got a huge question to ask Miss Sophia in a minute. But Miss Shatara Clark.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So go right ahead. So, the voice in your voice, but your voice though. Because in fiction writers, me and Miss Sophia could talk about fiction writers because we do hear voices. Yeah. Voices inside out. Fiction writers do hear voices. But what the voice is a noisy place, but distinguishing your voice from the other voices. So one statistic, even before you start. So we were in Houston in October.
Yes.
And the KDP actual representatives from KDP were next to us at the booth next to us. And I said, the last I checked, there were 5,000 books uploaded to KDP every day. And they said, no, Miss Julia, we up to 7,500 every day. Okay. And then that's just KDP. And so then me and Jim and I co-pilot one of them, did research and find out that with all the other ones, Ingram Spark, Draft Digital, or anybody, Lulu, all the other ones, there are nearly 11,000 books uploaded on platforms. Yeah, I know you shaking your head. I was shaking my head too. I said, oh no, I heard it on the podcast. I'm like, no, but 11,000 books every day. So, that's like 77 a week, then times 4, then times 12. So how are we going? That's very noisy. That's extremely noisy. So what are some things that we need to do to, one, find our voice and then distinguish our voice in a very, very noisy environment and a crowded one as well?
And the one thing too, though, with it being such a noisy, crowded market, all these people, like you said, the one thing we don't need to do is hop on a trend. And normally those trends are fast books that we can get out or fast things we can get out and put our name on. And no shade to those who enjoy doing those. Journals are great. So, excuse me, they're self-help. They're good, but we don't need to rush so quickly into something like that just to say that we have something with our name on it that we can call a book. So we need to really search to see if we truly have something that's healthy, that holds weight, that we can put out into the world. Because all these books being uploaded every day, 11,000, like, let's be for real. Are we taking the time to make sure that this is credible material, that these illustrations are up to par? Is this information edited? Is it even readable? Like, all of those things need to take place because we're putting this stuff out into the market, and some people are doing it just to say they did it, and hoping for a return, but then becoming disillusioned when they don't see it. And you're not going to see it if you're not putting out quality work.
Absolutely.
So that's just very important. And it is noisy. It is a lot of people, and it does apply pressure when you see someone put something out, and maybe you've been thinking about it or pondered on it, or or even if you didn't and you see somebody, it's almost like there's so much competition. There's so much, okay, you level up now because you got a book out. Okay, now I need to level up and put a book out, And a lot of people are doing those things prematurely, not truly telling their story, holding back information, not even ready for real. So all of those things come into place when it comes to finding your voice. Because, not everyone is, that's why they have anthologies, if you want to be a part of something like that. Because not everyone is meant to put out a whole book. Maybe you just have a story, and maybe you just need to be a part of a legitimate anthology and do your research on that. So it's important that you know what you're doing and where you're putting your work and how you are emphasizing that voice in this noisy market, so that it is credible, so that it is legitimate, and it's something worth buying.
Absolutely. And with AI, takes it all. We don't even have time to talk about AI, but I know people that have done full AI books, but I'm like, Did you read it? So if I interview you, would you know what's in there?
Exactly.
And I know you may know generally by the title, but how do you apply that? How can somebody apply that? And I think that's one of the main reasons why. First off, I'm glad we're assembled here and people with tens of years of experience and seen, as they say, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that we can not only help other people, but also understand that we do have a responsibility in the literary market that if people ask, we've got to be able to tell the truth. And as a publisher, as an independent publisher, I still have to tell the truth. I don't care if you are buying a publishing package, I still have to tell you the truth. And I still want to know what level of buy-in are you? I mean, is this a part of your business? Is this a part of what you do? And even if you have written and you don't have that business yet, I have to warn you, and I do warn you, Chatara, that somebody could ask you about this. Are you prepared to coach somebody? Are you prepared to, oh no, are you prepared to mentor somebody? If somebody wanted a deeper depth, are you willing to go get certified as a coach? Are you willing to take it to the next level? Or is this 10 things you just put out? Right. So it's that back to the book business and the seriousness. And then and just finally on that piece, people know when you don't know. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. People know when you don't know, because I've been on plenty of panels. We're not even going to go down that road. Me and Dr. Nettles have been places and they're like, whatever Julia says. And I'm like, wow, okay. All right. Well, yeah, okay. That's where we go, because it does take work. You do have to dig down. You do have to find out if you want to be credible in this industry. Mm-hmm. All right. Miss Sophia. Okay, so my first thing I need to ask Miss Sophia, what is flash fiction?
I love flash fiction because flash fiction is a short story that's 1,000 words or less, usually between 300 and 1,000 words. And I find that it's a great way to get feedback, to get practice, to improve your writing skills without having to write a 50 to 90,000 word novel and wait months and months to hear anything. You can write a piece of flash fiction. You can send it to your friends, and friends are not always willing to read 90,000 words, but they could read 1,000. They can tell you how they feel about what you wrote, but you can send it to somebody who's a professional. You can submit it to a flash fiction publisher, and you can get professional feedback too. And you can get that within a couple of months usually. And it's a great way to polish your skills. I'm an editor with a flash fiction publisher, and we give feedback on every single work that's submitted to us.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and we all volunteer. But we do that because we see this as a way to help beginning writers strengthen their skills and get their first publishing credits. I have an author I've been working with for about 7 or 8 months now. He submits almost every month, and I have seen him improve month after month after month. And when I give him feedback, I give him resources, and I've seen him say, you know what? Thanks for showing me that site. Thanks for pointing me to that book. And I can see how he's improving. I have a feeling this is a younger author, but I'm just so thrilled to see him persisting and taking the advice, even though there's a lot of red on his page. So
well, we all got that in school, some red on the. Now, besides the flash fiction, that really sounds really interesting. So do you all publish like anthologies of the flash fiction, like 10 of them and 15 of them that way?
Yes, in a manner of speaking. Actually, yes, we do. Our publishing is a contest. So when you submit your story to us, you're up against all the other people who submit for that month. And there are 4 slots. I do Tuesdays, which is Techno Tuesday. So we might get 8 submissions. We might get 30 submissions. and the top 4, maybe 5, will be published online for that month. And then we take the top stories of those who have been published online and we put them in one of our handy dandy print anthologies.
Gotcha.
So, and when we do this, you not only have a publishing credit for an online publication, but with our anthologies, you can actually go to Amazon and say, "Hey, I'm an author in this anthology," and establish yourself as an author with Amazon. So that's kind of handy too.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. And the reviews are probably helpful too as well. So I'm just going to tell you the genre of book that I love to write more than any of them is fiction. But that's the genre that takes the longest to write. And
Yeah.
I'm one of these nonfiction people. I write for business. I write to help my clients. I transcribe my classes and I have an ebook to go along with it. So I'm producing a product as I'm teaching. But what are just a couple of tips, just one or two, besides honing your craft, getting better? Okay, so you've got a great story. It's been in the anthology, but it's promotion after that that is usually difficult. Now, one thing I have found is fiction readers are loyal. Love when they find that they love you, oh, they're the most loyal. They whatever I write, there's a book club that wants to read it, or people, and I love that. But if they don't know I have it, they're not gonna, they're not gonna really know it. And of course, people are loyal to the New York Times bestsellers. They get the list, they know who's out there. But for the author, whether they're in your anthology or in another anthology, what would be some tips that you would give them for a fiction author?
Well, the fantastic thing about being published in an anthology is you have built-in community. And that's probably one of the most important things about growing as an author is getting into community. And with an anthology, you've got anywhere from 5 to 30 authors, maybe more, that all have their circles of influence. And so when they share, you're getting shared to their circles, and that's fantastic. And I would say take advantage of that social media, share with each other, and make it easy for them to share what you've done too. Second, it's really important to have an email list or a website so that you don't waste that opportunity to draw people in. Because once you have people who are subscribing to your email list, you can let them know every time you have something published.
Absolutely.
And have a website and have everything you've got published on your website. Let people know where they can find your work and engage with them. Whatever your preferred platform is, engage with people there. And also, you have to keep an eye out to the preferred platform of your readers.
Yes.
So like, that's why I actually started growing my space, my involvement or no, engagement. That's the word on Instagram. It's because Facebook is primarily used by people my age
Yeah.
now. But Instagram is more young adults and older than young adults. There are other platforms for younger people that I am not as comfortable about using.
Yeah.
Not going to be dancing on the top.
I know. It's come a little long way though. They come a little further because I knew I wasn't going out there during COVID. I said, I'm dancing for who? But they, I mean, they grew up a little. It's been 5-6 years since COVID, so they've grown up a little. There's book TikTok too that's out there, the hashtag, and that's really where the hashtags still work. And then I'm still trying to figure my way around Lemonade and
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah, Lemonade. That took over from X, Twitter. So. Yeah, and it feels like Twitter and Pinterest at the same time. Yeah, like I said, I'm learning about it. I'm figuring it out. But I know that is really important. So Dr. Nettles and I were at a a writing convention. Was it last May? Dr. Nels, we were there last May in
Where?
Missouri. We were in Branson.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right, Miss Sophia. The fiction thing was huge, that teams of authors got together and shared to each other's platform. Now you got to trust each other, because when it's my turn, everybody shares, but when it's your turn, then nobody shares. So that's where it really, I think it's the trust factor for some people, that I shared your book, when it was my turn, you didn't share my book. But that was the way the bestsellers, not Amazon bestsellers, but that's where the New York Times and the USA Today, that's the way they do it. They share to each other's email list, and that was the prime way to do it. But then also breaking those stories down, those fiction stories down, into what the characters eat, what they wear. I mean, they're just like how they live, the movies. I was like, okay, no, I don't have no time for fiction on this level. But I was glad I was there. I was glad I was learning, because I've got to really encourage authors that I know. Okay, if you're in this fiction game for the long haul, then you're gonna have to make the characters a part of your life. It's like the Bridgerton series. Now I know that's on Netflix, etc. But there are people on, this ain't like the book. See, the book said. So I'm like, there are people who are only gonna watch her Netflix, and there's other people who are gonna do both and do the comparison. So that means you're a loyal reader. You're a loyal. That's what we're looking to do. That's what we're looking to build, and that's what the connections were. But it takes time to do that. You can't just think overnight that relationship is really going to be built. So, all right. So I got to ask the question for all of you: what do you write? What do you write? I write in multiple genres: me, business, fiction, nonfiction, children's. A little spicy fiction too. Hello, I have a second company for that. Not erotica, no, but a little spicy fiction. So I really like to try my hand at a little bit of all genres. And for me, success is the long journey for me. I don't freak out when I don't sell 1,000 books the first 90 days. And I see people online, I only sold 20 books. I'm like, okay, if you sell 20 books every month for 10 years, okay, we're getting there. I mean, it's like anything else. It's a journey, not a sprint. And so and I love in-person events. COVID, I was freaking out, but, I figured that out. And then probably some of the lessons that I learned more than anything else is just double checking, triple checking your work. Even after it's professionally edited, have beta readers and have other people look at your work, and then make sure that the cover connects to other people. It's not about you all the time. Yeah, you want to agree, and I want to be so proud of my book. I do. But if it doesn't make sense to anyone else, if nobody's helped by it, if nobody's informed by it, if nobody benefits from it, it's not answering any questions, doing any pain points, and making people better and richer and better looking and all that, healthier, then why'd you do it? Because that's what's going to happen, the life of it. Okay. Who wants to go next? What you write?
I write poetry, books of prayer, devotionals, and children's books. I thought that I would dabble in fiction, flash fiction, but I started out with some content, and all of a sudden I was done with the story, and I thought, this is not going to work.
Not enough words, huh, boo?
It was not enough, which is unusual for me, because everybody who knows me knows that I have a lot of words. So it was very unusual for me.
I know. When she said 1,000 words, I'm like, Sophia, 1,000 words. You got to get it down like real. Yeah, I'm real wordy. So, so do you start out with 2,000 and then narrow it down? I don't know. I'll get back to you, Miss. I got a question, Miss Sophia. Okay, Dr. Meadows, lesson and success. What do you feel like is a success tool for you and a resource for you that's helped with your success in your writing? Now, I didn't say so. People think when I say success, I don't mean, I sold 10,000 books. I
Right.
did 6 figures. That's not what I'm talking about. Because somebody asked online one time, how many books do you sell where you feel like you're a success? And myself and probably about 20 other people says, when somebody buys one, because most of the time you're selling them one at a time. Most of the time, some people buy multiple. But when you get one sold, that's a success, especially if it's your first time out. If that's your, and you're unknown at this event. Oh, boom! When I get somebody who's willing to buy one, I won't just sell 100, but I'll take one. Then hopefully they'll share and tell somebody else. So a success and a lesson.
You have to learn that, though. You have to learn that selling your books, that's a long game.
Yeah.
And that is a lesson. Starting out, everybody buys your book starting out, your family, your friends, everybody buys that first book.
Absolutely.
Then when you get that second book, they start to thin out, and you get the third book, and you go, well, where my people at? So that's one of the lessons. It's in the long game. And another lesson is breathe. And I do struggle with that lesson, because when I start writing and the ideas are moving and I really feel led to finish something, I get really, really anxious when it's not finished. And I feel like I should just stop doing everything else and pour myself into that. And that's really how I am with certain aspects of my life. But it is to learn to breathe through the process so that the ideas can come and that you have an opportunity to rethink and reimagine those ideas. What's a success? I think the children's books were a success. And the reason I say that is because sometimes when we write, we're not clear that what we write is a piece of ourselves, and you end up sharing yourself. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want the book to be written, and here's my book, and it should say all the things that it needs to say. But the book there is a piece of that book that is you, and you have to be able to speak it. And a continuing success for me is being able to speak my truth when it's related to my book. You are a product of how you grew up, and your parents are a product of the era in which they grew up. And so it was important for us to understand you don't share all of your ideas with everybody. So I grew up with that. And this writing experience kind of shatters that, because you have to be able to talk about your book. And so my first book, which was a devotional, a complete reflection of my life, I had to talk about that. And I kept going, why do you want to know that? But the only way for someone to connect with your book is to connect with you.
Yeah.
And so that for me is a continuous success.
Yeah, absolutely. Miss Sophia?
Yes.
What else so you're a fiction expert?
Yes.
Fiction only?
Well, I write some devotionals, I write some blog posts, and I put them on my website. But I've been published in in science fiction and fantasy. So, but I've only got one novel out, but it was traditionally published, and it is science fiction. So, and I love it.
Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. Is it just one, or is it a series?
Beg your pardon?
Is it one, or is it a series?
This was published as a standalone, and I'm working on 2 more books that come out of that same world that take place 300 years later. So.
Yeah, your mind goes there. Okay, so as a traditionally, Shatar, are you traditionally published at all? No.
I have never submitted to a publishing house or anything. No.
Gotcha. Okay, so Mr. Field, we gotta me neither. I have published people who have been traditionally published. So first off, let me just say this. to be traditionally published used to be the only way you could be published, period. And so I know several people who have been traditionally published. They have their own independent companies. They self-publish. They getting all the coins. They getting all the money. They just, all the ways and all the ways to do it. So what would be one or two things, just one, Miss Sophia? And if you need to reach out to her and you want to schedule a conversation or something like that, go to her website if you need more, and she'll send you an invoice. Hint, hint. Okay. She's going to send you an invoice. But for those out there who are committed to the traditional publishing pathway, what is just one? Because you've talked about Instagram, you talked about being on social media and all that good stuff. But what is one other way that you really highly suggest someone who says, I want a traditional house, or either traditionally sub imprint of a traditional house to publish my book, period? What would be one way? Because it's a longer process, correct? It's a long process.
It's a very long process. I worked on this book 7 years before it was published. And I did 3 years of pitching at conferences. And that is one very strong way to get your book looked at by an agent or an editor or a publishing house, is go to conferences where people who have published stuff that you want to be joined with are. So get into writing communities and go to a conference, learn what the agents and the editors and the publishers are looking for, learn how to present your work in a way that gives it a better shot.
Right.
And grow a thick skin. Be ready for the no's.
Ready for the no. Right. And then you have to decide. That's where I go back to the book business. You have to decide about your intellectual property. Are you committed to it and keep 7 years until you find somebody who's willing to sign that contract and give you an advance? Or are you like, I'm building my own following, I'll just self-publish, or I'll do something hybrid, or I'll, I do a la carte services. I have people who come to me all the time. I just need a cover. I just need you to lay out. I just need you to edit. I got the rest of the parts. And so, publishing in this area, in this day and age, you got to be flexible and you got to determine what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. But the traditional process is long and arduous. It is a journey.
I just need to clarify. I was traditionally published, but by a smaller publisher. So there was no advance. Let me just take it right up front.
I understand, because now there's the hybrid way. There's some people who do small advances, some people who don't do advances at all. And some, that's the reason why, as a business, they're in the book business with intellectual property, you have to ask those questions, because you can't automatically assume, because some of the larger traditional houses have bought some of the smaller independent, and now those imprints are underneath. There's sub imprints of the major houses, and the rules have changed, period, bottom line. So it's a different world. So the fiction world is totally different, and flash fiction, I can tell that's totally different. Okay, I have to work on that and reach out. Ms. Shatar, what do you write?
So I mainly write self-help and memoirs. So sometimes those go hand in hand, because if you are reflecting on your own life, it can come off as a memoir. But if you are trying to teach a lesson within it, then it's also self-help. So that's mainly what I write. I really probably could write fiction if I dabbled and dabbled, but I just kind of stick.
It ain't to protect the innocent.
I just kind of stick with that genre. I'm comfortable there. I read a lot, listen to a lot of podcasts, reason with things a lot. So sometimes I just have a lot to share.
Right.
Based on thoughts that I gather in my quiet time. So yeah.
That I need a lot of God and a lot of prayer when I deal with authors with memoirs, because they just want to tell just the facts, man. They want to, and this happened on that Monday, and that happened on that date, and I'm like, okay, we got it, but how are you helping somebody else? I mean, how is that going to really help someone else? So I got to ask you, okay, with the memoir, because I mean, as a publisher, sometimes I get frustrated with people who write in that genre. I encourage it. I'm overwhelmed and ecstatic when there's stories and like, oh my, and that happened for real. Oh, and I'm feeling you. I'm emotionally tagged.
Mhm.
But when it's all done, when it's all said, how we going to, then I put my publisher hat on because I love the writing process and I'm emotionally attached and I'm a woman and I don't like to see women abused in any way. And I'm like, ooh, who is he? We don't like him. But then on the other side, when I put my publisher hat on, I go, how we going to sell this? And are you going to be okay with telling that story and telling what happened to you over and over and over and over and over and over and over again? So help us, Shatara. Help me. Help you. No, help me.
Yeah.
Help you.
It's very important though when people start writing memoir, like you said, wanting to give out those details, but you have to go a little bit deeper because whatever traumatic that happened in their lives or whatever happened in general, they overcame this. Like that has to be the common theme in the book. Like, and normally when I'm working on something like that, it's a lot of questions because, like you said, it's like, okay, if you're telling me this happened, you were 13, but then you did this at 23 or 25, but you had saw that it happened to you at 13. Why did that happen? You know what I'm saying? Like, or repeated mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, why we keep doing that over
Yeah.
and over? Like,
All right.
why did you stay so long in that
Yeah.
situation? No.
Yeah.
So those are the questions that have to be asked, that you have to be ready to answer if you're ready to tell your story.
Yeah. And I usually have a list of therapists on speed dial.
Yeah.
I do because there are some people that it is apparent that we're not going to get through it. Those that specialize in grief, those that specialize in trauma and all of that. I mean, I have an author that I've been working with for 7 years and we have so far, and we get stopped at this place where we meet the abusive husband and we can't get past that. And I've even offered to help ghostwrite it so we can get to the good part. So, as they say, the kids say, I can get to the good part, but you can't get past that because we got taste, touch, smell, all of that comes rushing back. And she stopped. And I'm like, yeah, we need some help. We need some professional help. I'm a publisher. I'm not a professional therapist. So yeah, being able to make that connection, and people don't remember and realize how emotional that is, how traumatizing that really, really is. So yeah, okay, you help me a little bit. I'll refresh my list and get my friends on speed dial. I'm very, very serious because I asked them, okay, are you taking any new clients? Do you, especially during COVID, are you able to do virtual medical treatments and all the Zoom and online? And some did, and a whole lot of them did not. And yeah, so this is a therapeutic mental health technique. It helped me when I first started. So I'm hopefully something that we said helped you. Now, this is not the only reason why I'm on tonight. I don't bring 3 fabulous ladies on with me and not have a fantastic announcement. Y'all know me by now. So these ladies are going to be in attendance, authors, speakers at the Montgomery Book Festival and Writing Expo on March 14th, 2026 in the year of our Lord. Yay! In Montgomery, Alabama, right downtown. Oh my Lord. And it's year 5.
It's year 5.
And some people say, the little kids, and we do little, they can open their hand all the way up, and I be trying to do 3 and 4 and out 2 and 5. So I'm super excited to say that I was there at the first one, and I'll be there, Lord willing, in year 5. No more snow and none more crazy weather. But anyway, we won't talk about that. But year 5, the Montgomery Book Festival and Writing Expo. Now, Dr. Nettles, is the still registration open, or when does it close?
Registration is still open. As long as there's tile on the floor, we can put a table in the space. Come on.
BurnettCNettles.com. If you're an author in the area, like I said, if you can get there by car, skateboard, scooter, bicycle, put your box of books on the back, put your helmet on your head, and come on through.
Come on through.
But we look forward to now the authors will be there. We'll be there about 9 o'clock, between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. But usually we start getting people from farmers market about 9:30, and they be wandering over. So look forward to that. But if you are in the Montgomery area, this is free for you now. If you go buy a book now, come on, bring your cash and credit card, and I will be happy to clink my phone with yours, do tap to pay all day long. But for book sales, but the classes are free. So we are not gatekeepers. We're here to provide the information that you need. So Ms. Sophia Hansen will be talking about flash fiction. So if you have all kinds of stories, whether they're little stories, big stories, your mama stories, whoever, grandma, big mama stories she used to tell you and she's gone on to glory, come on through and learn about writing those and getting those down. If you are interested in trying to wade through and be distinguished, be set apart to be a voice out there crying among the 11,000 books, please, Miss Shatara Clark will be talking about that, finding your voice in a very noisy and crowded environment. But we have this opportunity, we have this platform, and we have this ability to tell our story. And if you've always wanted to do it, it's your time. Miles Monroe said the crowd is the most developed, and where all the dreams and all the visions go to die is the cemetery. We don't want that. We want to put the stories out in the atmosphere for this generation and the generation to come. And then I'll be talking about the book business. Now I can't tell everything, so I have a limited amount of time, but I want to know, are you going to be occasional? Are you going to be on the fence? Are you going to be all in? So we'll talk a little bit. Bring your questions. Bring your manuscripts. I'll be happy to look at them, review them while I'm there. I'm coming from Jeffersonville, Indiana to Montgomery, Alabama. So I want to do all that I can do to help authors everywhere. And so if you have a manuscript, I read extremely fast. Be sure and bring that with you. Any questions that you have, bring it to class. You'll be able to ask questions of all the authors that are there. They all each have a path they came to publishing, path they came to writing. So it's a great opportunity. VernetteCNettles.com to register and jump on in. Dr. Nettles, did I leave anything out?
You did not leave a thing out. I'm just so excited that we've been able to work through this opportunity for networking for 5 years. It's really 6 years, but it's 5 years in the space as an official book fest. And this book fest was designed to be able to fill in the gaps for people who want to write, for people who are looking for new books, and for authors who want to sell their books. And so it's so important that networking and finding opportunities to help each other is so important. And that's how we designed this event. And so we're just so excited to see everybody next Saturday, March 14th.
Absolutely. March 14th. Come on out. Hello, Mr. Monty Wells and Ms. Velsa. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And all of you, please share. Please let other people know. I'm super excited. This is what I call my Alabama South tour. I'm usually out and about, and I love it. Going to schools, seeing kids on the younger level, seeing adults dip their toe in the water of writing for the first time. It's a wonderful experience. And so besides the Montgomery Book Festival and Writing Expo, you all have any events that you have coming up that you want to share, talk about?
Yes.
Jump on in. Come on.
I have been invited to support the Jaws Fest in Mobile. And so the Jaws Fest is a jazz authors, writers. It's like a symposium over the course of a month. And so the book festival portion of it will be May 30th, and we'll be getting information about that out as well. It'll be on the University of South Alabama's campus, but it too is a growing event. This year's theme is Miles Davis and John Coltrane. I hope I
Nice.
said those names right. And so there
Yeah.
is the Excelsior Band is going to perform. There will be jazz concerts, literary performances, the book fest. Dr. Julia is coming down. It's
Yeah.
going to be exciting and just another opportunity to network and show off what the South can do.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this. And I'm gonna throw my
Yes.
husband in the ocean and let him get some water and get some sand between his toes. Yay!
Can you let him walk in the ocean? Don't throw him.
Well, no, he usually runs in. I just take video and pictures and send it to his family and say he's in the water again. Yeah, but he loves it. He loves it. He loves it.
Absolutely.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll be heading to Biloxi on Thursday for CoastCon, which is, I think it's been running for 47, 48 years. It's a science fiction, fantasy, and anime convention.
Oh, yeah.
So I went there 2 years ago, had a fantastic time. I'm going again. There's costumes, there's Mandalorians, there's all kinds of crazy people. I love it.
Yeah, I know it. The cons are just like over the top. Yeah, I've been a couple of them, but I need to go to more. When I get my comic books up and running, I got one, but I got to get 2 and 3, a few more before I think about going to a con. So, Tara, you got anything coming up?
So nothing necessarily book related coming up. But I do have a nonprofit that focuses on empowering women, and we do have a field trip coming up March 21st. So if you check out my Thai Talks on Facebook, you'll see that, or on my regular page, Shatara S. Clark. But this particular field trip, we're inviting women to bring their daughters 7 and up if they would like to. But yeah, you can just find all that information on my page. I made a post about it today. So I'm all about educating people. And since my nonprofit focuses on women, I'm really big on educating them, exposing them. A lot of women don't go places because they have no one to go with. Then they see places and they're like, I want to go there, but I don't have nobody to go with. So the field trip initiative aims to bring women out, and so they can meet new people and also be exposed to different things in and around our city, our state, and just different places.
Wonderful field trips. I have missed them, but they are wonderful.
Oh, I know. You'll have to get back on. Well, you do all kinds of field trips. Quick announcement for me. Sunday, March 8th. First off, March 8th is International Women's Day. So whatever you can do to celebrate a woman in your life, or celebrate, well, first off, it's Women's History Month, the entire month of March. So we'll be celebrating women, and all month long. There's conferences. We got the field trip. We got the cons. We got the book festival. We have that. But on Sunday, March 8th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's 5 p.m. for the Central Time people. I am excited and ecstatic to be interviewing retired Ambassador Pamela E. Bridgewater, who is been a U.S. ambassador abroad under 3 presidents. And so I was ecstatic to publish her book. Join in the conversation Sunday evening right here. And Ambassador Pamela E. Bridgewater, and I published her memoir, but it was over the top. It was, that was a major feat, and I'm just honored that she chose me. I can't believe she did still, but it happened, and it has really taken off. So we're gonna have a conversation about her time as an ambassador, and then her memoir, and what it is really taking a life on. Is I saw it coming. She saw it a little bit, but she's like, oh, well, I don't know if anybody's really interested. And now she got a whole schedule and a booking agent and a whole 9 yards. So I'm super excited about it. So join me right here on Sunday evening after dinner, after you've done taking a nap from church. Settle in and tune in. You can do it on your phone, mobile device, and tune in and listen, because this is truly women's history in our midst, and somebody that we can actually know, touch, and learn from. So super excited about that too as well. And then Tuesday, I head south. Let's go. I'll be on my way to Alabama. Yes. Super excited. Thank you ladies so much for being with me this evening. I've learned a lot. I hope those who are listening, those of you who are going to be listening on the replay, have learned a lot as well. My goal always when going live is to be able to spread information, not gatekeep, tell people as much as possible. Now, if you need to have a conversation, I've shown you these ladies' websites multiple times, but Dr. Vernette C. Nettles, VernetteCNettles.com, Sophia Hansen, SophiaLHansen.com, and all things with S, TYRights.com, or find them on social media. It's mutual. We're all on Facebook. So that's a good thing. Yay! So you should be able to find all of us. You all be blessed. Take care of yourself. Be safe and keep writing and keep finding out more, and write down all those voices that you hear in your head, because it's going to make a fantastic novel. I promise you. And hopefully I'll try some flash sometime. I don't know. Otherwise, today, tomorrow, and always. I know where to find her. Today, tomorrow, and always. I want you to live your best life. Be blessed. Until next time. Good night.
Thanks for having us.